Hi, welcome to Common Sense Defense. My name is Ptolemy Prudent, your host, and today we're going to be talking about the importance of building two Spearhead class expeditionary fast transports and how they are going to be working in distributed operations by using HIMARS launchers firing precision strike missiles. It's going to be a very exciting episode. The next two episodes will be kind of covering the same topic, but from different perspectives or different platforms. So you're going to want to tune in to this episode and the following episode. So let's look into what an expeditionary fast transport is. Um, First of all, when you move a Marine amphibious unit from the United States to anywhere in the Indo-Pacific or Middle East or the Mediterranean or Europe, they're on larger platforms. They're on the L series platforms, so whether it's the LPD or LAJ or landing helicopter assault platform or any type of those larger platforms that can carry up to 1,000 Marines. And this platform is not from or used by the Navy per se. It's used by the Military Sea Lift Command. The Military Sea Lift Command is a group of auxiliaries that are manned by civilians, and maybe with two or three service personnel on it, but primarily those platforms. The Military Sea Lift Command is manned by civilians. Those platforms are typically either unarmed or lightly armed with maybe some 50 caliber machine guns, and in some cases maybe a CRAM, which is a short range surface air missile system for localized defense. So the Expeditionary Fast Transport under the Military Sea Lift Command, the Expeditionary Fast Transport is let's it's like it's like a it's like a transport platform that can move about 600 tons of of uh, of equipment, or about 300 service personnel from point A to point B inside of the theater, meaning from one area of the theater to another. So it doesn't have to go across the ocean per se, but the Expeditionary Fast Transport is an intra theater transport platform. And so it carries about 600 tons, as I stated, and it also has it comes in about 2,400 tons from its weight. And the length of the platform is the ship is 338 feet long, and the beam is 93 feet or 93 feet wide. But here's something critical about it: it has a draft, or the depth of it. It goes to 13 feet. And the cool part about the fast transport is that it can go right up to the shore, and it has a ramp on the back, and the ramp unfolds and lands on the shoreline, and you can roll off the equipment and machinery and weapon systems that are on board, just rolling right off onto land. So imagine if you had one or two M1 tanks on there, or some HIMARS platforms, or anything. They can just roll right off the back, down the ramp, and onto the shoreline. And so, one of the cool things about the Expeditionary Fast Transport, or EPF, is that it doesn't have propellers. It has four jet skis, big, large jet skis. So that's kind of a cool platform, a cool capability, because this ship can not only travel intra-theater, or about 1,200 miles, it can also deliver right up to the shore, roll on, roll off material. It can roll right up to the shore and deliver 600 tons of equipment. Now, also the EPF also has a very large helipad on it. So a CH-53 or V-22, which is a tilt rotor airplane, can come in and land, pick up troops or pick up supplies, and take it to where it needs to go. So it has a very large deck on the back. So it's really quite a platform. Now I will say that it's aluminum, so it's not made out of steel, but it is very capable, and it's made by Austell, which also makes the LCS. I believe the Independence class LCS, or Littoral Combat Ship. So all those are also made by Austell or Austell USA. Okay, so that's kind of the nuts and bolts of what the EPF is. Now, here's what I want to share about this. This platform, as I stated, is made by Austell, and that's out of Alabama. And the Austell EPF platform costs about, I think, $300 million, 200 $300 million, and these ships are made about one per year. I'm proposing that we make two per year. Now, this is not including the two platforms that we're currently talking about making for the hospital ship replacements. I'm talking about on top of that, or in addition to that, making two per year for the next 5 years, so that we can have an inventory of 10. Now, the primary mission, as I stated earlier, the primary mission for the EPF is to transport equipment and military personnel. But I want to switch up a little bit on this. I want to make it possible where we're kind of bringing into a conversation where we can put HIMARS launchers on the ship. So the Navy, should I say the Marines, have done a test. I think it was in 2017, where they rolled out a HIMARS launcher onto the deck of a amphibious ship. I think it was a DDG. It was a LPD 17, and it was on the deck of that ship. They anchored it down with chains, locked it down, and then they used the HIMARS and they launched um, a missile off of that platform. It was basically showing the capability that they can use a HIMARS and fire on shore from out to sea. And so that was the Marines, and I'm sure that was a cool test that they were doing back in 2017. But they don't know how much a disruptor that was then and now. They proved it could be done. It's not complex, but they proved that it could be done. And now we need to look at how we can kind of roll that concept of the idea out and apply it across the spectrum. So that's the next this edition, and the next edition or next episode are going to be talking about how we can use the precision strike missile, which is one of the missiles that the HIMARS fires launches. We want to talk about how that can be a game changer in the naval surface domain. So let's look at that. Let's look at the HIMARS really quick. So here's a couple of, yes, everybody's seen the HIMARS firing a medium range launch missile dealing in Ukraine, or we saw them firing in Afghanistan. Or so yeah, we see that it's got 6 tubes and it fires off those missiles. They have a range of about up to 50 miles, and so yes, they used to, back in the old days, could scatter anti-tank or anti-personnel mines. They now, the primary missiles that the HIMARS launches has 100-pound payload in it, and it fires precision and lands within accuracy, I think, of 3 or 4 feet on target with a 100-pound payload. It's absolutely devastating. Uses GPS, what have you. It's very, very accurate. So that platform has a range, as I was saying, about 50 miles. Now, moving forward, the Army, and that's also the Marines, having the HIMARS, can launch the new missile coming out that's being developed. Is called the Precision Strike Missile. The Precision Strike Missile replaces what we call the old missile was called an ATACMS, which was an advanced missile, had a range of about 200 miles. So this platform, this missile, the Precision Strike Missile, will be replacing that. Now you can place 2 of those missiles, the Precision Strike Missile, onto a HIMARS. The traditional HIMARS, where it used to carry 6 medium range missiles, is now going to be replaced with 2 tubes carrying the Precision Strike Missile. Now, the Precision Strike Missile has a range of about 290, 310 miles. That is a substantial distance over what the current capabilities are for naval missiles. So the Navy uses the Harpoon, that has a range of about 90 miles. The Navy uses the Naval Strike Missile, which has a range of about 110 miles. The Navy also uses, as you know, the Tomahawk, which is a maritime version. That has a range, yes, of 600, 800 miles. However, it is subsonic, and it gets to its target. But the Navy also has the SM-6, as we talked about in our last episode, and that has a range of about 200, 250 miles. Okay, so having the capability to roll a HIMARS out on deck, anchor it down, and launch a long-range precision strike missiles from it is absolute game changer. That is what I'm a proponent of. That is what, in fact, Congress about I think 4 years ago asked the Navy, says, "Hey Navy, can you guys give us some ideas about? We want to see you put." We want to see you put long range precision fire capability on amphibious ships. Give us a report and tell us what you think, because we think that you can up arm some of your amphibious ships and make get more bang out the buck, add more lethality. And so that is something Congress has already asked the Navy to do, and they gave them a report, but obviously we still have those capabilities not deployed. And so that's kind of what I want to talk through on this in this episode. The next episode is how that can happen. So real quick for the HIMARS, it has a 3-man crew, and it launches the 6 missiles, and it has a way that it reloads and fires off the next batch of missiles. And so with the precision strike missile, same concept. It fires and it comes back, and you reload the next two and you fire again. And having that ability, it is absolutely impressive. Now, there's a new missile coming out called the Extended Range um, Guided Missile, the long range guided missile, which has got a long range of about 93 miles. So that one is going to be replacing the shorter range 50-mile version. But I'm focusing primarily on the precision strike missile, because when you are a smaller unarmed ship, or a smaller ship, or a lightly armed ship, or a ship that is you're up arming or up gunning, you want to be able to have range so that you can fire from a long range. You don't want to be up close, because obviously you're not a fighter per se, but you want to have that capability. You want to have the lethality. And so let's look at that. So that's so let me read an article to you from Breaking Defense. Um, it says, according to Breaking Defense, Lockheed's new precision strike missile has ranges from 37 to 310 miles. Two precision strike missiles will fit inside the rocket pod of a United States Marine Corps high mobility artillery rocket system. According to Lockheed Martin's precision strike missiles page, the missile is 13 feet long and 17 inches in diameter. Okay. The precision strike missile is designed for survivability using advanced global positioning system updates that can be worked in a degraded environment for flight control guidance. And it all goes on to say the precision strike missile's optimized warhead uses preformed fragments to maximize lethality and area blast coverage on targets. Now, I want to fast forward this to talk about. I want to fast forward and talk about its ability to be used in a maritime environment. And I think that's the most important part that you're kind of looking at is its anti-ship capability. Um, it goes on to say in the last, or if the U.S. Army and Lockheed can manufacture the precision strike missile variant with increased range and possess an advanced seeker head that tracks moving targets, such as a precision strike missile, might alleviate the 25% budget cuts that the Marine Corps sustained in research and development of a missile they were working on earlier. But this part is talking about how if they were able to build on that capability, the high mobility rocket system is definitely what you're looking at to be able to do that. But I really want to stress to you the maritime capability in the head of the missile. It has not only has an advanced GPS antenna, which means it can work in a degraded environment, but it also is going to be used where it can have a secondary tracking capability for mobile targets, mobile maritime targets, and that is what we're going to be using, or what will be used on in the future. That will be the game changer. So that's the platform that we're looking at. I think that's increment two or increment three of this missile, that when it comes out another 2 or 3 years from now. But by the time that you start the process, all those pieces will kind of merge together, where you have a new missile system along with a new platform. You merge those two pieces together, and all of a sudden you have a new capability and a platform that has more lethality. And that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for getting more bang for your buck. You have a platform, you have a new mobility. You can have a capability where the ship can be close into shore to fire missiles and not be on our adversary's radar. So you look at all those different capabilities that are out there. And so that is why I am proposing to build 2 additional transport per year, so that as we go through the years, you have more capability to maneuver, shoot, fire from stealth positions, or stealthily position stealthily from can't say stealthily, fire stealthily, and be able to impact negatively the enemy's attack plans, operational plans in theater. And so that's the capability that we'll offer the Navy, offer the Marines, offer our defense forces, and that is why I'm a proponent of that. So look more to the next um, the next podcast where we'll talk about this a little bit more as it relates to different platforms. And, I really appreciate you taking this time. I really appreciate you being on our podcast. We want you to have a great day. Be strong out there, and we'll talk to you real soon.